It's Divas That Care Radio. Stories, strategies, and ideas to inspire positive change. Welcome to Divas That Care, a network of women committed to making our world a better place for everyone. This is a global movement for women, by women, engaged in a collaborative effort to create a better world for future generations. To find out more about the movement, visit divasthatcare.com after the show. Right now, though, stay tuned for another jolt of inspiration.
Good morning, Renee.
Good morning, Daisy.
It's so good to have you on the show, and it is so wonderful to be above freezing.
Yes,
the weather is like summer now.
It's beautiful
That is
out.
wonderful. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. So that is wonderful. Well, I am Akiki Daisy Kabagarama, a proud host of Divas That Care. And today we have a special guest, Renee, and look forward to hearing her story and sharing and have a good time. So we're grateful to have you listening from all over the world. Well, Renee, why don't you start off by introducing yourself? Let's get to know you better. Thank you.
Well, it's okay. My name is Renee Inserti. I live in Wichita, Kansas. I was born and raised here, have lived here my whole life. I have 5 children and 3 grandchildren. I am a full-time marketing director for a very large auto group here in Kansas. I've been there for over 20 years. And I also am a health and wellness coach, and I work with people of all ages and demographics to help them achieve their health and wellness goals.
All right. That's wonderful. 20 years with Davis Moore. You must have seen me, maybe. You see many customers. Yeah. I remember we bought a van from there a while ago, when our kids were still home. So maybe I saw you. That's wonderful. Congratulations. And
thank
I
you.
see in your, yes, indeed. I see also in your bio that you are a health and wellness coach. So what does that mean? What do you do?
So as a health and wellness coach, I work with people who are looking many different things, whether it's, overall their health and wellness fitness goals, whether it's if they want to attempt, to lose some weight. I work with women and men who have overcome serious obstacles after having some serious health issues like cancer, all different types of ailments. Sometimes a health and wellness coach works body, mind, and soul, so I help them with organizational skills sometimes and making sure, with their food preparation, setting out schedules to help them, stay on track. I mean, it's kind of a vast variety of things.
Yes, I can tell you are a very busy person. So how do you juggle all these activities? And being a marketing manager there, hey. So, what's the secret?
So it is definitely a juggling act. I will not even pretend like it is not. And there are times it does get overwhelming, but, I really have it down to kind of a fine art now where, my number one job is Davis Moore, and that gets, usually 40 to 50 hours a week of my time. It's kind of 8 to 5, Monday through Friday, and then in the evenings and the weekends is what I dedicate to my health and wellness coaching. So I am very busy because I do have 5 children. I have 3 granddaughters that I am very involved with. And then I have to have me time, and sometimes in the past that has gotten the short end of the stick. I take care of everybody else and make sure everything else is taken care of, but I ultimately have to take care of me first. And when I'm able to take care of me first, then I'm able to take care of everybody else.
Wonderful. And actually, that's the question I wanted to ask, later on. I'm glad you brought that up. And especially as women, all over the world, we will take care of everyone else and ourselves last. Oh, not at all. Yeah, where I come from, and I'm sure here too, you feed everyone. If you have a husband, he eats first, and the children, they eat, and if there are other relatives in the house, you feed them. And if you're lucky, you feed yourself at the end.
Yes.
Or not at all,
you are
like
correct.
roasted. Yes, you
are correct. That is where making sure, that taking care of myself, I do make it a priority. And so in doing that, I do make sure that I eat because I am very busy. And so oftentimes my schedule can get off. So I do a lot of food prepping, on Sundays. I kind of plan my meals out and cook for myself for the week for what I know I'm going to eat. I kind of proportion it out so that I'm never left hungry, and not eating.
That is wonderful. Those are tips that, we can't take for granted because not everyone, gets organized around themselves, As I've always said before, in some cultures, that is selfish. You don't, keep food for yourself and, focus on yourself. It's, no. But yes, we need to do that. Yes, indeed.
Yeah.
So, yes, how did you get interested in health, how did that come about in your life?
Well, it's always kind of been there as a passion. I come from my mother has her doctorate in nursing. And so at a very young age, she was a very big believer in, low sugar intake, eating healthy, supplementing, taking care of our bodies because they are our temples, and so I learned from a very young age. And then, over time, after having child after child after child, one thing that started happening with me is my weight really, really spiraled out of control. It's like each time I had a baby, I would gain 50 pounds, and before I knew it, back in 2003, unfortunately for me, I topped out at almost 300 pounds. And here I was, a young mother with 5 children, and I could barely make it up a flight of steps. And I thought, oh my gosh, what is happening to me? And I knew a lot of it was the food that I was putting in my mouth. It was absolutely toxic, and I knew that there had to be a better way. And so I started just doing all kinds of research, really started going towards more of a plant-based nutrition, completely eliminating sugar from my life, and started working out. And it took me 2 years, but over a 2-year period of time, I lost 140 pounds. And I have maintained that weight loss here 15 years later, 16 years later. I don't even know how many years it's been now. And it just became a huge passion of mine, and I wanted to start helping other women and men, be able to obtain and achieve those goals, because sometimes it seems like it's so, there's no way possible that you're going to be able to achieve that goal. And so building up my own, kind of taking what I did during that time and what I continue to do and helping others implement it. It's been one of the greatest achievements I've ever had, not only personally, but watching others as I'm able to help them attain their health and wellness goals.
Wonderful.
So it's something that I've personally lived and continue to breathe life into others.
Congratulations. What a story. And somewhere in your bio, I see a time when you had a life-threatening situation. Would you like to elaborate on that? That really changed your life in so many ways.
It did.
Okay.
So after I lost on my weight, and I was really, I started running marathons, which I never thought I'd be able to do. I was working out, really the best health of my life. And then back in 2014, I found out that I got diagnosed with melanoma, which was a very aggressive form of cancer in my leg, and it was located in my upper left thigh, and it was extremely aggressive. So they had to go in, and I had to have 2 surgeries, very, very aggressive surgeries that left a hole the size of a softball in my upper left leg. I had to have my lymph nodes removed because they were so close to where the cancer was located. So that really sent me into a tailspin, and I went through an enormous amount of pain, you know, as a result of those surgeries. And I had, for 4 years, I battled continuous, you know, neuropathy, which was severe nerve pain going down my leg, severe swelling and edema, and I really wasn't able to do much. I walked with a limp. And then I just started researching more and more and more. And by the grace of God, I had a friend reach out to me. I had been supplementing, and I had been eating very healthy. The problem was that I wasn't using true, raw, synthetic. You know, not all supplements are made the same, you know, and a lot of them have fillers and binders and different things in them that they're not FDA regulated. So you're not exactly sure that what it says you're getting, you're actually putting in your body. So when I partnered with a company that truly believed in raw, pure-based nutrition, plant-based nutrition, I couldn't believe the transformation that happened to me in just such a short period of time. I went from being on all kinds of medications for pain and nerve pain to being able to come off all my medications, and that has just even propelled me further into being able to help more people on their health and wellness journeys.
Yes. Yes.
So it definitely changes your life when you're diagnosed with, you know, something like cancer, and you start researching and finding all the answers that you can to, you know, be able to help navigate you know, to a road of better health, and also you know, making sure that, you know, you keep your body alkaline and in a non-acidic state, so that you are able to basically suffocate out any kind of disease, because we know that disease cannot survive in an alkaline state.
Wow, wow. I'm so glad you followed that route, because many people give up, you know.
Yes.
Yes, there's no energy for research, and there is no, I mean, they just give up, and the situation becomes worse and worse and worse. Yes. Oh my goodness.
Yes, I think in today's world, people have unfortunately they just accept the fact that, you know, we're used to being sick. People just think that that's natural, that, you know, being in a sick acidic state, you know, is natural, and it's not. That's not how God designed our bodies, and that's not how we're supposed to be. And our bodies know exactly what to do once you give it the proper health and nutrition.
Yes. Again, speaking of where I'm from, you know, a woman reaches 40 there, you know, if she's fortunate, because there are so many dangers out there during childbirth and all, and war, you know, women usually are, you know, so, I mean, they lose their lives in so many ways, but given just a regular situation, a woman reaches 40, well, you are so old, and well, you know, yes, and then, and indeed, you start getting sick, and it's accepted, and that's it, you know? Yep. So, thank God.
And then people just think that, you know, they think the only answer at the time then is taking a bunch of medications, you know, because that's what we've been told is the only way that we're going to get better, you know, so it's nice to have some alternative ways of trying to build up the foundation and build up your nutrition and your immunity to where you're able to fight off some of these diseases.
Yes.
And it's
you know what,
very exciting for me to
go on. Yes.
I'm very passionate about educating people, because I think that's what we have, you know, all over the world, not just in the United States, but everywhere. It's just a total lack of education and understanding about how nutritionally deprived we are as humans. You know, and so for me, my main goal in all of this is just educating people and letting people know, you know, there are alternative ways, you know, and there are things that people can do every day, you know, to help them with the fighting fight.
Yes, and the environment is getting more and more toxic. I tell people my grandmother lived a very long, happy, you know, healthy life, you know. But then my mother's generation, oh my God, so unhealthy and, you know, medicine dependent, and, you know, exactly what you're talking about, you know?
Yes.
So, Now, another problem is that There are so many things out there. So how did you find, this company that you're working for, and what made the difference? I'm sure you had tried many other things, but tell us a little bit about,
Yeah, so like I said, since a very young age, I'd been supplementing. And so I'm the kind of person that, I'd go to the health food store. I'd spend hours and hours researching, looking at the back of bottles, trying to decide, what's the best of the best. And, at the end of the day, they don't have to disclose, all of the things that are in it. And, you find that, what you think is in it, there's a lot of fillers and binders and, synthetic products that are being put into what you think is a natural supplement. And so the thing that resonated the most with me, with the company that I work with, the company is called Pure, which stands for People United Reaching Everyone. Their mission, was to basically cleanse, balance, and build the body. And they have a foundation that helps to build the body at a cellular level. And I love that this company has panels of doctors that are fully invested in, making sure that what are put in these products, are the purest of the pure. And I also really appreciate the fact that so many of the products are in the PDR, which is the physician's desk reference, and that speaks volumes for the amount of research that they put in and the studies that they've put into these products for it to go into the physician's desk reference. That's a very, very big deal.
Okay.
So for me, this company resonated in everything that I knew to be true with the supplements that I was using. I just finally found them in their purest form. And when you find them in the purest form, it's unbelievable what it does to your body.
Yes, indeed. What a change. You saw an immediate change. Yes.
It was immediate.
Yes. Wow. And I see also here, your faith drives you. I see a statement here saying, treat your body like a temple.
Yes.
And that caught my eye, As you know, I'm a preacher too, among other things that I do. So I said, okay, so talk a little bit about this, the temple. So how did you get to that conclusion, and how does that help you?
Well, I have always believed that our body is a temple, and I've always tried to, take care of it and nurture it the best that I can. I try to honor it and respect it, and it's kind of a mindset that I have. I thank my body every day for the work that it does, and I think a lot of people don't pay attention to their body. They don't think about the stress that they put their body through on a daily basis. And when our legs are fatigued, maybe just thanking them and saying, thank you, legs, for working and carrying the weight for me all day. Or, I truly do look at my body as a temple. I am a spirit and I am a soul inside of this body, and it's been loaned to me by God, is the way that I look at it. And it's my responsibility to take care of it the way that God would want me to take care of it. So I am extremely cognizant, of what I put in my body. I allow my body rest because it needs it. I try not to be stressed. Sorry, my dog's barking. I try not to be stressed because, we know that stress puts an enormous amount of, tension on the body, and it can also cause the body to be sick. But I honor it and I respect it, and I truly think of my body as, it's on loan from God, and I don't want to do anything to my body ever that God would not want me to do. And that's truly how I view it.
And that is wonderful, because what we believe, directs our action, in life, So that's a wonderful philosophy. As you said, many people just put the body last. I'll do this, I'll do that, I'll do the other. But, taking a moment to say thank you to the body, that's wonderful, even saying thank you, God, for, putting me here on the earth, so accident that I'm here. And so that's
Exactly.
the way you live, the way you live, the way you handle others, and yes, indeed. But when we don't do that, then indeed we just live, just like that for the moment. Okay, whatever comes. Yeah.
Yes.
And these days, of course, as you know, stress, whether, I don't think anyone likes stress, but it is there for everyone, even
It
young people, all of us are under stressful situation. Yes.
Yes. As a society around the world, there is an enormous amount of stress and pressure, and both men and women, but we're talking about women today.
Yeah,
and you kind of addressed that earlier. And, women are being pulled in so many different directions because we're still expected as wives and mothers, to hold down the forefront and to do the cooking and the cleaning and the grocery shopping and the daily tasks that are put in hand. But then we also are working outside of the home. And so we have a lot of pressure being put on us by our employers, and like you said, trying to juggle it all and stay in the right state of mind to where you don't just get drowned, by all of the stress and pressure. It's difficult, but it's so important, and it's a balance, and it's a balance truly between, the food that we eat, the nutrition we're putting in our bodies, the physical activity that we're giving our bodies, because we weren't made to stay stagnant, and so many, a lot of people have jobs where they're sitting all day, so they're not exercising their body. And so a lot of elements begin from just that, but then also making sure you're getting adequate rest, trying not to stress. And the one thing that I talk to everybody about is the power of water. Water. So many people do not drink enough water. And when I tell everybody when they're feeling stressed, when they're not sleeping, when they don't feel good, I tell everybody to double and triple your water intake, and you can almost feel an immediate lift. We are so dehydrated in today's world, and we're putting all of these drinks in our systems, from coffee to soda to all of this junk. And we're not putting something in our body that we know we absolutely need, to stay healthy. And that's something that's as simple as water.
Yes.
It's God-given. So many things that can keep us healthy are God-given.
Yes. Yeah. And you made a very good point. Of course, you made, good points. But even here, give us that care, and when we reach, try to reach women, globally, because their situation is so dire in many cases. But this is for everybody. If women are healthy, men will be healthy, children will be healthy. I mean, so we're helping everyone, but targeting those who are at the bottom. Again, quoting where I'm from, if children are doing well in the home, then the man is praised. Oh, Mr. So-and-so's children, oh my goodness, they're doing very well in school or whatever else, whatever they're doing. And when they're not doing well, then the woman is, just, blamed. And then the times, I have to ask, come on here. But there is that inequality, in every way. Yeah. Whether earning less, whether being overworked, whether, unafraid. And of course, there are many who face abuse. Yesterday, we were talking about this other young lady here, suffering from abuse and mental illness. But then, rarely do we look at the society that causes those things, How did she get there? Yeah. We have to examine the whole situation. Yes, indeed. Oh, well, Renee, you are wonderful, and I wish we could go on and on and on, but this is such, the insight you've given us, such knowledge. Would you like me to ask you any other question, or would you like to add anything, please? Yes. Let me hear from you.
Excuse me. I think the only thing I would add is just to tell everybody out there that, the mind believes, what the heart, can achieve. And so it's like, don't ever try and tell yourself, that it can't be done. And the baby steps, the tiny little baby steps every single day are what makes such a huge impact. The mind will always achieve what, the body, what the body believes it achieves, and so you've got to connect the two, mind and body. It's so important. People miss that element a lot. The mind is your most powerful tool. And if you believe something can happen, it will. And you have to kind of train your mind. And sometimes it's a completely different mindset, because we've all been given this certain set of ideals to believe this way or believe this way, or these negative thoughts that we sometimes put into our mind, and these negative messages telling yourself all the time. It kind of goes back to that self-sabotaging, that I can't do this. I'm never going to lose the weight. I'm never going to get healthy. I don't have the time. I just have to settle for being this way. And you absolutely do not. It's the little tiny baby steps that eventually will turn into massive steps. And it's just to keep that positive energy going at all times, into truly believing that it can be done.
That's wonderful. Yes, we are co-creators. God put us here on us and gave us so much, made in God's own image. So we're just supposed to just sit there and accept whatever. Yeah, what are we adding? How are we, creating situations we desire? But again, those are lessons that, and of course, as a coach, they may sound simple, but many people don't believe that way. It's what comes to me, and all that, and me being an immigrant here,
Yes. And a lot of times,
yes.
The thing I love to remind people the most is that fear is a liar, and that's what I tell everybody. Fear is a liar, and it will trick your mind every time into believing that something can't be done, or because of that constant fear. It cripples people, and you have to figure out how to decipher between, get fear out of your mind, and for me, when I find myself fearing, and I'm not perfect, of course I still fear, but I also remind myself that because of my faith, that's also doubting in God. And I'm never going to doubt God, and so I'm going to continue to believe in the calling and what He wants for my life, and I'm going to put my belief system in pulling from Him and that energy.
Wonderful, wonderful. And, God says, I have not given you a spirit of fear. So you're absolutely right. I was about to say that, as an immigrant, came to this new land and said, absolutely, I'm at home. I mean, those people, they may be, having a different culture from mine, a different, whatever, but hey, they are my relatives. Well, brothers and sisters, it's a beautiful land. God is here too. God who went to the well with me, as I grew up in Africa, going to get firewood and all that, is the same God who is here. I was driving on the left side. Now here we drive on the right side. Yes, God will help me too. But you enjoy it. You even enjoy the people. They bring so much richness into your life, and you do the same. It's fun. Oh, Renee, this is wonderful. Thank you so much. We are truly blessed to have you here at Divas That Care, and I'm very grateful. Actually, the person who welcomed you there, Candace, is the founder, again, has created such a movement and has helped women already, as we interact and then changing the world, changing society for everybody.
That's right. Yes.
Yes. Well, thank you so much. Any other idea you want to add? Any other statement? Yes, please, before we close. Feel free.
Well, I thank you. I have thoroughly enjoyed this, and like I said, it is a huge passion for me. And like I said, just I believe that anything that people set their minds to, they can achieve. They just have to find the way. And I too have been, a huge advocate, and I've spoken at many women's conferences, and I'm always, working to rise women up. Women need to take care of each other. We need to rise each other up. We can understand and appreciate all that we go through, and never trying to bet against each other, but pulling together and using our energy from each other, because we all have so much that we can learn from one another, no matter where we're from. And I think it's so important for organizations like this, like that you and Candace have done, in making sure that women can pull together and utilize and build off one another, and ultimately, like I said, rise each other up. Because it's so
Yes. Thank you so much. And definitely, we'll invite you again, as we have other programs, and, so you can share that wisdom with us. We appreciate you. Again, thank you very much, and enjoy the Sunday. We'll be in below zero in temperature now. This is like summer. Oh, my God, we will reach 45 today. Maybe.
Yes, we need to go out and enjoy some sunshine.
Yes. It's wonderful. Okay, wonderful. You have a lovely
Well, thank you so much for having me.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.
Thanks for listening. This show was brought to you by Divas That Care. Connect with us on Facebook, on Instagram, and of course on divasthatcare.com, where you can subscribe to our newsletter so you don't miss a thing.